The Indianapolis Colts made the playoffs for the second time in Frank Reich's 3-year tenure as head coach, but fell just shy of moving on in the wild card round. Then came the retirement of Philip Rivers.
To develop the type of bond and camaraderie that we had was pretty special.
And the Colts found themselves with an opening under center. GM Chris Ballard made a polarizing move and dealt for former Eagles quarterback Carson Wentz, and in the process, giving up a potential first-round pick.
Last year didn't go personally the way I envisioned it, the way the team wanted it to go, all of those things. But, you live and you learn from those things, and you leave them behind you and you get better from it.
The Colts are clearly banking on Wentz returning to his 2017 form when he had the best season of his career with his now head coach as his then offensive coordinator. But just as Wentz was getting acquainted with his new team, surgery, an old injury that was re-aggravated in training camp, leaving his Week 1 status in serious doubt. Not only that, but they may be without their 3-time All-Pro guard Quentin Nelson for Week 1 and beyond, who also needed foot surgery. Can the Colts get healthy in time to challenge the Titans in the AFC South? If not, their road back to the postseason may be much more difficult this time around. So it's been a little rough for the Colts, especially when it comes to Carson Wentz this preseason. Not only after that foot surgery did he have to go on the COVID list, he just got off of that today. So as of right now, the Colts are hoping that Carson Wentz, as you take a look at the odds here, will be able to start Week 1 there. But let's talk about the Colts looking at the season as a whole. Welcome back in, Bryant McFadden. The Colts betting breakdown now. Let's start with Carson Wentz entering his 6th season in the NFL. He is plus 1,000 BMAC to win Comeback Player of the Year. Now that is behind guys like Dak, Joe Burrow, Jameis Winston, Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley. So a little bit back there, but what do you think about Carson Wentz, Comeback Player of the Year?
Well, number one, Amanda, I hate that the NFL will allow players who were not injured the year before allow them to be in this category, right? I think this award should be devoted to guys who were injured the year before. Carson was not injured. He just was bad. He got benched. And I understand we've seen in years past players that were not injured win this award. Randy Moss won it when he got traded to New England from Oakland. You know what I mean? But I think they should go ahead and make the criteria different than what we're seeing now. This should be devoted to injured players from the year before. But to answer your question, I don't like his chances at all. Number one, he's basically still hurt. He is still injured. We don't know exactly what his status will be in a week when the NFL season kicks off. But I love Dak Prescott, no question. Joe Burrow. Hey, the same can be said for Jameis. He wasn't injured. He just didn't play. Christian McCaffrey, I definitely love his odds. But me personally, I wouldn't even touch this because I think Dak Prescott, number one, is the clear-cut favorite, followed by Joe Burrow, and then, of course, CMC in Carolina.
Producer Jack says he could come back from the foot injury, but I actually agree with you, B-Mag. I think it should be injuries from last season. But that is neither here nor there because we don't make up the rules and we don't handicap those odds. Let's move on to Jonathan Taylor. Over under 1,250.5 rushing yards. That would surpass his total last season of 1,169. What do you think about his odds?
Yo, Amanda, if he's healthy, book it. Print the T-shirts. He had over 1,100 yards a year ago. He had 3 games from last season where he didn't have 10 rushing attempts. We all know who the featured running back is in Indy. It's Mr. Taylor. This is a guy who is a running back. He was born to be a running back. He didn't play any other position in his entire life. Just running back, because that's who he is as a player. So I think if he is healthy, over 1,200 yards, exactly 1,250 yards and a hook should be a given for him. Take it. I'm going over.
Let's talk about Week 1 hosting the Seahawks. The Seahawks are favored by 2.5 on the road. The over-under here, 48.5. Would you make a play with these odds here in this game?
Yes, I will. But I'm going to the point total, I'm sorry. And here's why. We don't know the status of number 2, Carson Wentz. We think he will be in uniform, right, Amanda? But we really don't know. I mean, as of late, he's kind of been like the gingerbread man. You don't know exactly when he might crack, when a piece of the cookie might come off. So you don't really know if he will be in the lineup the entire ball game. And if he's not, then you hand the football over to Jacob Eason. Transitioning to Seattle, curly hair Russell Wilson is my quarterback. I know he can go ball with the best of them, but he's playing against a very, very stout, consistent defensive team in the Colts. On all three levels, they play nice, sound defense. So because of the concerns for the quarterback in Indy and the concerns defensively, the Colts will provide curly hair Russell Wilson in the Seattle Seahawks offense, not to mention some of their offensive line woes are still there. I side with the under when you look at 48 and a hook.
I do want to mention that there is not a win total right now for them because Carson Wentz has been a little bit iffy, first with the injury and then being on the COVID list, which he is now off. So there's no win total. So let's look at the odds for division, conference, and Super Bowl. So when it comes to the division, AFC South, the Titans are first right there at -120. The Broncos follow them at +145. Excuse me, I said the Broncos. We did the Broncos. I meant the Colts there. So give me your feeling about these odds here for the Colts as a whole when you look at all of these things.
Oh man, the best option for me has to be winning the AFC South. I don't like them to win the AFC. Clearly don't like them to win the Super Bowl. So if you really want to just roll a dice and pick one, take +145. With the Colts winning the division. They know the division extremely well, right? And it's a two-team division. It's all about Tennessee. It's all about Indy. And all you need is Indy to take care of their business when they're supposed to, and everything could play out in your favor if you're talking about taking one of these options. But like I said, do we really believe the Colts can win the entire AFC? Especially not knowing exactly the status of their big-time quarterback in Carson Wentz. I'm not quite ready to say that. And if you're not ready to say that, guys, you're not ready to say they can win the Super Bowl as well. So take the Colts winning the division +145, and let's see what happens. But me personally, I do believe the Tennessee Titans will win the division.
Bryant McFadden, thanks so much for joining us here on CBS Sports HQ for these betting breakdowns of the Colts. And yes, we also did the Broncos before we had that last break there. By the way, BMAC, if you didn't know, he has a podcast along with Patrick Peterson. It's called All Things Covered. Make sure to download and follow the latest episode. It's a mailbag. A couple questions there. Will Larry Fitzgerald join the Vikings? Will Pat P talk trash to DeAndre Hopkins? You got questions, they've got answers. Make sure to download and follow. Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.